Hey you, welcome to my channel. It's really good to have you here. This is going to be an interesting video, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notification as well because there is more where this came from. This video is a rematch. A while ago, I baked a sponge cake for my brother for his birthday. He came visiting and I was like, please let me make your cake. Please let me make your cake. I promise I'll do every other thing for you, but just let me bake your birthday cake. And he was so gracious. He let me. And I wouldn't call it a disaster because we ate the cake, but it didn't come out as well I would have loved it to come out. It was my first time baking a sponge cake all on my own. The other times I've baked it either with my mom, a friend in school doing practicals. So I've never really done it on my own. So that was my first time. I'm just saying it just so you can judge me lightly. Anywho, I baked the cake. It didn't come out as good as I would have loved it to come out. So I decided to revisit it. You know, we're rounding up the year and I love to take stock of my life, like my personal life, my professional life, my interests. I just love to take stock. And part of the things I realized was that cake, I can do better. I know I can do better. I've actually not baked it since that time because that one just really demoralized me because I was so pumped before making the cake because I felt like I've done it before. It's not like it's going to be the first time like I've done cake, but that was like the first time baking it independently. And since I'm taking stock of everything I did this year and trying to analyze and assess myself and know what I can improve on, this sponge cake is something I can actually show myself before the year runs out that Chimo, you can actually do better. Yeah, you can. And even if you fail in this one, you have another year to try. But I still have some time this year to right my wrongs. A major part of what I do while taking stock is assessing myself, seeing what I can do better next time and what I can keep doing. So I'm going to be applying all that in this particular video. When I start making the cake, you see all the new tricks I learned for this particular sponge cake. So I really hope it comes out well. Disclaimer, I've not done it since then, just so you know, all these things have been happening up here. So yeah, it's time for our practical. So let's jump right into the ingredients. So for this one, I have baking powder, plain flour. My flour is already sifted. Once I buy it, I like to sift it before putting it into this container. Yeah, so it will be like easy to use. Once I'm ready to make anything that involves flour, I can just scoop it up and put it into my bowl and start mixing. So yeah, it's already sifted. All-purpose flour sifted. Egg. So I'm going to be using 4 whole eggs. I don't want to pick everything up, but I have 4 whole eggs here. The next ingredient is sugar. Yes, sugar. So part of what I realized from my last sponge cake was that I used granulated sugar, and while I was mixing, it didn't give me the best result because of like the sugar had so much texture. And when I decided to make this sponge cake, I realized I didn't even have icing sugar at home, but I had granulated sugar. So what I did was poured it into a mortar, and I'm going to use my pestle to grind it and get it to a finer texture. This is about 10 minutes in, and as you can see, it's looking more like icing sugar. Yeah, it has become a lot finer than the typical granulated sugar we know. So I'm just going to do this for 5 more minutes and we'll get back to making our sponge cake. Yeah, and I believe it will give me a better result when I mix it with the eggs. So without further ado, let's get to sponging our cake. Starting up, I'm going to crack my eggs into this bowl. Going to start. Now I'm going to add my sugar. So I'm going to be mixing while I'm adding the sugar. So this is another thing I got to understand after I failed at that my first sponge cake. So let's go for it. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. But almost is never enough. are here. Yep, and this is the consistency we're going for. Measure out a cup of flour to this empty bowl. Half teaspoon of baking powder. I got baking powder. Then mix it together. What this baking powder would do is to make it fluffy. So I'm going to be adding that gradually into this our mix. But before I start, let me just quickly run the mixer again. Go ahead and add my flour in parts. This time it's gonna be perfect. Yeah, that's what one of my friends once sang. She's late now, some of you might know her. Before I add the last bit of flour, I'm going to turn on my oven. Let's add the last bit of flour and get it over with. Okay, now that is done, I've lined my pan and I'm going to go ahead and pour in my butter. Balance of the whole contents across the base of the pan. And time for the oven. So I pop her into the oven. All the best, darling. It's 25 minutes later and I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I need to show you yet. Oh my god. The time has come. Let's do this. Let's just get it over with. See, this is what happened. Like, I can't even get the parchment paper off it. That's how crisp it is. It burnt to the crisp. Let's see if we can cut through it because I don't like. Can you hear? Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Hey. Yay. Okay. See. There is a pot of gold at the end of this black rainbow. As you can see, the burnt part got into this part, but oh my god, I did it. I did it. See. Hey, Jesus Christ. What? It's safe to say that I judged too fast. So with this part being out, I think I should be able to remove the parchment paper. Yeah. Okay. I think this is just my oven. I think it's my oven that just tried to scam me and make me feel like I'm not a pastry chef. Like, how rude. Let me just insert it back and we'll get right into the tasting. You know what time it is? It's tasting time. This was such a plot twist because I thought it was another disaster, but turns out it wasn't such a disaster. I mean, this is what the top is looking like, and I was like, but then I turned it, or rather I cut it open and saw this. What I'm going to do is cut out this burnt part and give it a taste test. I'm going to call my brother after this and be like, it was actually really nice. He ate it. Rather, I forced him to eat it because I blackmailed him. I was like, so me, how could you not eat this cake after I slaved for you? And he was like, but what if I, coming out is hard. Like, I don't want to use like a disgusting term, but you get where I'm going? I was like, see, I'm in this with you. So we ate the cake together. He ate more than me because he was a pretty boy and my blackmailing was, yeah, that was the aim of the blackmailing, for him to eat more. Come on, I made this cake for you. I know it's not perfect, but okay, let's just get right into this one because I'm just reminiscing and okay, let me just go for it. I'm just really I just hope it tastes good. That's the thing, because the last one tasted good, but it didn't, like, the texture wasn't good. But this one, at least now the texture is good. So let me just go for it. So let's do like fluffy test. You know, sponge cake now is meant to be spongy. See. I'm a pastry chef. Like a cake fairy is born. Something that will go really well with this my cake is orange juice. I made some orange juice 2 days ago, so